Yes, I muted this. Good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this August 3rd version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon. We're glad you're here, and don't forget, we're always on Roku, and we have a good guest with us today, Bennett Welch. Benny, as we call him, he is our local editor, been with me the longest of any of my employees, and he's got an upcoming concert and he's going to share some tunes with us stuff. So how are you this morning, man?
Morning.
Doing all right?
Yeah. Is it Thursday? It is. So it's First Friday.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. I don't even feel like we worked this. Like, I'm still dragging.
Me too.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I got to go back to work at the poker room. I've been off since last Monday there, with Shrine and everything, and I got to go back tonight, and I'm just dreading it.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like it.
Right.
I love the job.
Right.
I'm just dragging. I feel like I can't get caught up.
Yeah. No, and that
takes a week or two. We know.
I totally get it. And part of it is like part of it's an emotional thing too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's
there's
like
just that build up,
big ramp, and
because there's just so much tension, and it's not horrible. It's not like that bad tension. It's not. I mean, it's manageable. It's just there's a lot of pressure to deliver a good product when it's a contract that's that big.
Well, and it's for me, it's like, I mean, okay, what are we going to do next year? Is it going to be easier? How can we alleviate
I've already
the problems
started
we
my
had?
list.
Yeah, you know how that is.
Yeah,
so it's just like, you get done with one and
right into the next.
Right into the next. Yep.
Let's bring out some sports.
All right, let me get to that part of it, man. I like see him below. Okay, here we go.
This AM Sports Report is brought to you by Hobby Habit. Joe's hiring. They don't hire very often, so if you want a cool job, go to Hobby Habit, man. You get to hang out and basically sell toys and hobby stuff all day. They have everything from Traxxas, which they signed a contract with Traxxas to make them an exclusive dealer, and Traxxas is probably the #1 RC car in the world. They have STEM. They have awesome Legos. They're just doing a great job there. 411 First Street in LeGrand, Hobby Habit. Go pick up an application and talk to Joe. Sports-wise, it's going to be pretty quick. We talked a little bit about EOU on Tuesday. Fall sports are in the swing. I'm excited. And it might be – it's hard. I think I like all 3 seasons because I love softball. Everybody knows that. I love basketball. But I also love football and volleyball, and I'm starting to love soccer. But it's the people for soccer. It's not so much the game.
Right.
I love the players, man. They're all good. You know what I mean? And then the only bad thing about my job is they leave. Yeah. They graduate.
Yeah.
It sucks. It does, because I develop relationships with these guys, and then they're gone. Like my boy Max Rose. He played a couple years, left, came back, played a year, and now he's back in the UK. You know what I mean? So it's like, or Santi, like one of my favorite EOU athletes ever, like back in California. So it's like, it's hard. Max McCullough,
right?
You know what I mean? Like somebody I spent a lot of time with, just gone. And that's the hardest part about my job. But there is sports today. LeGrand Little League Juniors, and I'm going to throw up the bracket for you guys so you can see it. They're playing in the West Regionals, and they play Utah today at 9. They're the state champions. So, I mean, you can follow them on Game Changer. They put their link on Facebook. Just type in LeGrand Little League. And here's a look at these guys. And they're, like I said, they start their play today in the opening round against Utah at 9 o'clock, and we'll be following, keeping you updated. And yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, if they win this, they go to the Little League World Series. So
very cool.
This is huge.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you. AM Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit.
Yep. Cool. And that's good news for our future baseball program right there.
Yeah. It is.
I mean, that program just continues to be strong with the younger kids, which means that it'll be strong when,
Yep. It definitely is good news. For sure.
So that and wrestling consistently here locally are just stellar programs all the way from early to high school.
We've had a couple classes lately, though, that have just been phenomenal athletes.
Right.
This last year's class and the 2019 class were just like unreal. That 2019 defense on football was the best high school defense I've ever seen.
Really?
They went through the playoffs, didn't give up a point.
Wow.
I mean, they were just they beat Banks in the championship. Like, I think it was Banks, in the championship, and shut them out.
Wow.
I mean, it's unheard of.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I tell you what, just blows me away is that a lot of these athletes are multi-sport athletes and really good students.
They're always right.
Yeah.
It kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah. It's like, what was God thinking when
it's
he
a rarity that you have a really good athlete that's not good in class.
Yeah.
Very rare. No, really. Yeah. I mean, these kids, like, prime example, Nathan Reed, the running back,
right?
For EOU, but for the 2019 championship, he's not playing football this year. He could have played this year, but he's done. He's already graduated.
Yeah.
He graduated in 3 years.
Right.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah.
Graduated at the same time as his older brother.
Huh.
And the kids just like, and they're all like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's every once in a while, there's a few, one or two that have a little bit of struggle in school, but by the time they get to college, especially if they go to EOU and play football, camp straightens that out quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't play when it comes to grades.
Yeah. That's good.
If you have issues with school, I mean, he'll make you meet with him personally every day. I know a player. I'm not going to say any names. And you know who you are.
Yeah, and he had a meeting with him every day. Like,
for a whole year.
Wow.
Yeah, like, hey, we're going to hold you accountable, and if you want to play football here, here's what you're going to do.
Yeah, and that's good. I mean, do you think that culture has changed? I mean, from what it was.
It all depends on the coach.
Yeah.
I mean, some coaches are sticklers when it comes to grades, and some, there is a high standard at EOU, though. I mean, Angie holds the coaches pretty accountable when it comes to grades, and she wants her athletes to be, on the dean's list. I mean, that's part of it.
Right.
I have a little bit of a different opinion about athletics in college, grades in college. Here's my thought on it.
Okay.
And a lot of people are going to be like, Doddsy, you're full of shit, but I don't care.
Okay.
I figure, if you're going to college and you're paying for it, I'm okay with you being an athlete first. Because you're choosing to go to college, you're paying for it. As long as you stick to the standard that is set forth by your coach and by the school, I'm good. I don't care if you put athletics first.
But you mean by paying for it, meaning you're not getting a scholarship?
Well, even if you are getting a scholarship, you're still paying for it. You're paying for it with your athletic ability.
Right.
You know what I mean? I say as long as you're adhering to the standard, you can be an athlete first. Go ahead. You're an adult. You might not ever use that degree ever.
Yeah.
So I'm a believer that be an athlete first if you want to be, as long as you follow the rules and stick to the standards.
Right. So as long as you have the minimum GPA.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, exactly.
Right.
You can have, as long as you have what their standard is.
What is the minimum?
It depends on the teams. Usually it's right around 3.0. I think 2.75.
Which I think is adequate.
Yeah. A B average?
Yeah.
100%.
I guarantee you
there's no reason.
My college GPA wasn't that good.
But there's no reason why you can't get B's in college.
Right.
Honestly. I did it with a minimal amount of work.
Yeah.
I hated writing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I put a minimal amount of work into it and got B's.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of English at all. And you have to take that three course sequence. You know, writing, research, and then speech.
What's funny though is you're a stickler here about writing, spelling.
Well, I think we have to be.
Right.
That's part of, that's more of a job thing. I'm not a fan of like sitting down and writing a research paper.
No, I don't know who is.
No.
I mean, there are some people that love that.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, hey, let's take a look outside and see what that's like. And then the weather today.
Beautiful day.
Yeah. The weather up to 91. There's a red flag warning. So 91, and then
it's going to cool off tomorrow.
Yeah, which is good a little bit.
I don't mind it.
It's not much of a.
Yesterday it was hotter.
Yeah.
Than it is today. So 91's not horrible.
No. But I mean, I wouldn't want to work out in it.
No.
What was it on Saturday? What was it midday on Saturday? Was it?
It had to be right around there.
Yeah.
It was in the 90s.
It was.
Yeah. I mean, I was sweating just sitting in the booth, so it was hot.
Yeah.
With minimal amounts of moving. If you're sweating, it's hot.
Yeah. Well, good. Well,
the booth, hey, they did a great job on our booth this year. Let me tell you guys that. So we we sit up in the press box at Baker, which is not exactly the Hilton. It's made out of 2x4s and plywood, basically. You walk across and I'm afraid of heights. So you walk across like this plywood platform and you get into the booth.
It's a plywood sidewalk.
Yeah, basically across a roof, across the grandstands.
Right.
And you get in the booth and it's pretty small. And last year we had a little issue with being able to see. So just to explain the booth, we have our control board, which has all of our mics and all that stuff, all the internet, everything. And then you got 2 monitors, my computer. William didn't bring his computer this year. And we have to jam all that in 6 feet. And they cut the boards this year, made it a lot more comfortable. Lee Wright built us a platform that raised us up 8 inches so we could see up over the edge. I mean, the guys did a great job on the booth. I was very happy with it. It was perfect. And then they hung the banner back behind us so we could close the door and put the banner up so we had a backdrop. They got the camera dropped down. Last year, the camera was way up here shooting down on us. This year, it was level with our eyes, but somebody told me I never smiled.
That you didn't? They told you didn't smile?
Yeah. They're like, smile. I'm like, what? Why would I be smiling? Like, I'm working. I got a lot going on in my mind during a game.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah, but you guys did a really good job on the platform and that whole area. I was very impressed.
Well, thank you. We did work at it. And so, all righty. Well, Bennett Welch is here with us, and we'll take a quick break, and he'll be right back. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Long-term employee Bennett Welch. How are you, man?
I'm doing just great.
Normally you're behind the camera or in the control room. You're not out here.
He's been on this show before.
Yeah. I mean, this is like my 3rd time, but this is the first time that I've done it in the actual studio.
Yeah. When did he? When
was he? Me the last time you were gone?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
We also did it one time with me and my dad. Too,
yeah.
But
okay.
Yeah. So
occasionally when we get to the bottom of the barrel, we just drag you out and throw you.
We can't find a guest. We're just like, Bennett, you're gonna have to brush your hair today.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, let's kind of start with how you got started here, because I think that's kind of a cool story.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was kind of by chance. Because, back in high school, my best friend at the time, I mean, his dad was like a missionary, and I think he wanted you to record one of his speeches or something like that, do a professional recording of it. Mm-hmm. And when he was talking to you about it, he somehow figured out that you had an internship program, and he's like, hey, I've got a son who's got a friend that's really into video, and they're both into video. So let's get them into that program. And and so he talked to me about it, and I said absolutely. And yeah, and so then it was the end of my freshman year of high school, and I came on, and that was back when Will Bowman was still the producer down here, and he trained me and kind of taught me everything well, not everything, but a lot of what I know about video now. And I kept interning each summer during high school, and when I graduated, Will left, and there wasn't anybody else around, and I've been working here for a while, so I got hired on as the producer. So
and you took a gap year.
Yeah. So after I graduated high school, I didn't go straight into college. I took a gap year and just worked throughout the gap year, and that ended up being a really, really smart idea. Just because of the pandemic and everything, I didn't have to do all of my classes online and everything like that. And so that ended up working out really, really well for me. And I made a lot of money during that time too, and saved up quite a bit for college. So yeah.
And you I mean, Will did a ton. I mean, Will, he did a lot. And so that was, I mean, you've kind of stepped up and carried a big load since then. So, and we've done a lot of cool projects. You and I have since then.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes it feels hard, because like sometimes I feel like I hold myself to his standard too much sometimes, because it's always like, I'll work on a video project and I'm like, I don't feel quite as happy with it. I'm like, man, Will would have just like absolutely like killed this or something like that, but I have to kind of understand, like, Will's a different person with a different style, and his own way of doing things, and I'm my own person with my own way of doing things. I mean, and I'm learning. It's not like I went to 4 years to study film like he did. It's like I just kind of jumped into it, and everything I know about video I've learned from here, from the projects we've worked on. And
the stuff that we've turned out, the stuff that you turned out has not been any less than what he would have produced. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't have turned it out. So, So, I mean, you've done a good job at stepping up, and then as you've learned, talk a little bit. I talk a lot about the art of storytelling, and I've just watched you finally over this last year or so, you finally got that. You finally got that down. I mean, how would you describe that? What is that?
Oh man, that's the thing is like, I don't exactly really have like a specific formula or anything for telling a story or a specific philosophy. I just kind of watch the video. Like, I just watch the interviews that we shoot a lot of the times, and I just kind of watch them over and over again, and I try to find kind of like the connections between the interviews, kind of like, oh, well, they said this here, well, this person said this here too. And I kind of just figure out, like, okay, like, I think about, like, what does the client want? Like, from the meetings that we've talked about, what is their goal with the video, and I try to kind of just string together a story from there, and I build everything else off of the story that's being told. So the music that I pick, the B-roll that I choose, the pacing of the video, I mean, everything is built upon the story that is being told. And I think that good storytelling is, of utmost importance. It's above everything,
Right.
Like it's above, it's like you can put all the fancy effects, you can have all of these flashy stuff, you can put a bunch of spit and shine on the video, but if you don't have a good story, you don't have a good video.
Right. And a lot of people, they might not, what do you mean storytelling? Because they're, and the essence of that is you started that you have a lot of the stuff that we do is testimonial driven,
Right.
and it's I kind of look at it like it's almost like cooking. It's like a recipe. I mean, you have all of these spices in front of you, all of these different parts of the recipe, and it's the way that you arrange them and the amount that you arrange them that kind of leads the viewer through the entire process.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing, is that there's an infinite number of ways that you can tell a story.
Absolutely.
It's just the way that I choose to tell a story is more or less kind of partially influenced by the time that we have, that, what the deadline is on the video.
Right, sure,
it's like, well, this is the story that I can come up with, that I can formulate in this amount of time. But, what exactly is storytelling? That's kind of, that's kind of a hard one to say. I mean, because it's just, it just really depends on the video you're working on. I mean, because the thing is that you can tell stories through testimonials. You can have a testimonial driven story that's telling the story of a person, about some sort of experience that they had, or talking about, like, like, for example, the manufacturing video that we just did recently, telling the story of all these different manufacturers, and what it's been like to work in LeGrand, and why they work in LeGrand, and why other people should come to LeGrand, and kind of telling LeGrand's story too along with that. And same thing with the downtown video. That's not really testimonial driven but narration driven. It's more storytelling through, it's kind of telling the story through the narration, and not through anybody's particular point of view, but telling the story of LeGrand, and sort of what what the client is wanting, the kind of goal, and what the client hopes to achieve with the video, what the message that they hope to share to the target audience. So
well, cool. So let's kind of switch.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get involved in music? I mean, and I remember somewhere along early in your high school, I mean, when you started working for me, there was somewhere along the line, it's like, I'm going to take guitar lessons, or I don't know.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about how you got started in
this. It is a really interesting journey with how I got involved with music. I did choir basically all throughout middle school and high school. And I mean, I grew up around music. Both my brother and my mom play music, my older brother. So, I mean, I kind of grew up around that and everything. But for a while, I just really wasn't like that into it. I just didn't really understand like the connection to music and everything like that. Like I just wasn't really into it. Even though that I did choir and everything, but it's like, people would ask me like, what kind of music do you listen to? And it's like, I don't know. I don't really listen to it that often, and I mean, there was like maybe one or two artists that I liked. And it's just, I just couldn't really form a connection with it at first. But, despite that, I picked up guitar around the time that I was 12 years old. Cause, just because I actually specifically remember the moment that I decided that I wanted to play guitar. It was my mom and my brother, one time when we were visiting, they were playing a song together, and I was like, man, that looks like a lot of fun. Like, I want to try and do that. And I had this little cheapo guitar that my mom bought me, like a long time ago, like when I was like 8 or something. And so I picked up guitar when I was 12, and kind of from there, like I was just really off and on with guitar. Like I just couldn't, I learned the chords and all that stuff, but I could never fully learn a song. Like I couldn't really find songs that I liked that, I really wanted to play. And I did take lessons. I took lessons from Marshall Turner around, from Legrand Stereo and Music. You know, I took lessons with him off and on throughout high school, and I just wasn't learning. Like, I just wasn't getting into it. And then around my senior year of high school, near the end, I did start finding artists that I liked and everything. And around the time that I graduated, I just kind of got into it more and more, and finding music that I actually connected with. And I kind of, at one point, I decided, like, hey, like, I kind of want to try this, you know? And I remember that I went, and a couple days after my 19th birthday, I went down to to Legrand Stereo Music and bought another guitar. And you know, I picked it up, and I haven't been able to put it down since then. I mean, I've just every day, like almost every day, I play, and you know, I mean, and just it slowly started to encompass my life more and more. You know, it kind of went from a thing of like, I'm just kind of doing this to fun, to more like, this is my thing. You know, like this is what I want to do. Like, this is my calling. This is my love. You know, this is my main love. Like, so it just kind of happened, you know, just kind of gradually, like over time. But yeah.
So talk for a minute. Tell me how it connects to you emotionally. I mean, I've sung and been involved in music my whole life. But I don't think I relate to it the way that you do. So how is it? I mean, because I have never been a songwriter. That's not something I've ever done, and that's something that you're into. You've explored, and I mean, talk about why do you emotionally connect to that?
Well, it's, you know, that's a real.
And I'm sorry, I kind of
because like you know, it's kind of like, you know, asking like, why, like, you know, why do you love someone? It's like you can put so many reasons as to why, but it's just because, I mean, you know, you just kind of do, you know. But I think that the way that I like connect emotionally to music is that it's just it's very, you know, I think that there's a broad range of emotions that I can experience when I listen to music, you know. Like, I personally really like heartfelt music, you know, music that moves me in some way, you know, not really so much music that's just kind of catchy and, you know, that like is just kind of, you know, just more for fun. Like, I like to feel something when I listen to music. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, there is some music that I just kind of listen to just cause, you know, and just to kind of, just because it's catchy or whatever.
So but you love Taylor Swift songs?
No, I actually, no.
There's nothing wrong with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, no, there isn't.
No, she's super talented.
Oh man, she is.
But I haven't listened to a ton of Taylor Swift. But she did do a collaboration with my all-time favorite songwriter, Justin Vernon from Bon Iver. She did it on one of her more recent albums. It was called Exile. The song was called, but
I just picked Taylor Swift because she made it big writing about her breakups with boyfriends.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
I mean,
I mean, and that's kind of, I mean, you know,
she's probably one of the biggest artists on the planet right now.
Well, right, yeah. And I understand like why Taylor, even though I don't listen to a lot of her music, like I kind of understand why Taylor Swift is so popular. I mean, especially amongst girls, because, you know, she writes material that's, you know, relatable to them and makes them feel something in some way, you know. But yeah, I mean, and you know, I kind of like joke, to kind of joke to myself that, like, you know, some of my artists are kind of like the male version of like Taylor Swift or Lana Del Rey. Like, there's this one meme that was like, somebody asked like, who the heck is Bob Dylan? And they were like, Lana Del Rey for men, you know. And but, you know, I mean, yeah, you know, just for me though, it's about, you know, an emotional kind of connection and just kind of music that expresses the human condition and the human spirit in some sort of way, I mean, and that's just art in general, but I mean, there's some people who they like experiencing that through painting or through movies or writing or something like that. But for me, it just so happened to be music, and because I just like there to be sound along with along with to make me feel something, if that makes any sense.
So is it kind of, do you think it is a little bit like a poet writing? I mean, is there a piece of that?
Well, absolutely. I mean, because a lot of times lyrics are, they are poetry in a lot of ways, I mean, not just because people a lot of times make lyrics rhyme, but, also just because it's, there's a structure to it, and there's, it's expressive in some way, I mean, but yeah, I mean, does that make sense? Yeah.
So in your writing process, do you, what comes first? Do you write the word? I mean,
music,
what do you do?
The music comes first.
Okay.
The music always, for me, it always comes first.
So you have a tune.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is that a lot of my songs kind of happen just by chance.
Okay.
So like I'll just pick up the guitar and I'll start strumming or finger picking something, or with a chord progression, and I'm just like, whoa, like this sounds really nice, and like I kind of start to string that together. I'm like, oh, this sounds really good here, and everything like that, and I just kind of feel the vibe of the song, and I'm like, okay, like what's the feeling of this song? What is this song trying to tell me? And I try to kind of build words off of that, so a lot of times I'll kind of keep playing that over and over, and eventually I'll kind of hear a melody line coming along, and then the syllables, and then I try to kind of find words that fit those kind of that can fit within those syllables and the beat, and so yeah, so
cool.
That's kind of how my writing process goes, and it just kind of becomes a refinement process where, I just keep writing it, and then I keep refining it, and eventually get it to a point where I'm happy with it. So,
well, good. Well, very cool. Well, let's take a little break, and we'll let you get your guitar, and we'll you can play something for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. We'll be right back. All righty, we're back. Benny in the studio. Benny in the studio. You have your guitar. So the preparation that you're doing is for a show that is talk a little bit about the show you're doing.
Yeah. So this weekend, Saturday, August 5th, I'm going to be playing my first ever show at HQ. I've been down at HQ at their open mic for a while now. I released my album just this last year, and and I figured HQ was the best place to go because just because of the fact that I've been so involved in that community for a while and everything. But so Saturday, August 5th, doors open at 7 p.m. and music starts at 8. And my older brother, Nick Hackney, will be opening for me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and you can buy the tickets on HQ's website for $10, and then at the door they cost $12. So,
all right,
yeah,
cool. How do you feel about that? Is that like?
Yeah, well, it is. I'm playing at the open mic there, and everything has really helped prep me a lot for playing live. It's gotten me used to playing in front of people, and just kind of dealing with stage fright and how to recover from how to bounce back from mistakes when I make them.
Yeah.
It's also kind of driven me to practice a lot more because there have been times where I've straight up had to stop mid performance and be like, crap, what were the lyrics? And so it's I don't want to have a moment like that while I'm actually performing at an actual show. So it's I've been practicing quite a bit this week, and and before I went to Alaska, and I'm feeling pretty prepared for the show. I think it's gonna be pretty good. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you play a little bit for us? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe tell us a little bit about the tune.
Right. Yeah, of course. So this song that I'm gonna play, it's called Young Songbird. It's a song from the album that I just released. The album's called it's a long name, but it's called Requiem of the Lost Ego, Dark Night of the Soul. And it's a 2-part album series. And I just released the first one. So this is a single from it called Young Songbird. It's just one of those songs that I kind of wrote by chance. I was just kind of playing along, as I was writing one of the other songs on my album. I was kind of playing around with different tunings. This song is written in a lower tuning. It's called C standard tuning. And so it kind of came from another one of my songs, It's Starting to Rain, which was written in C sharp standard. And I had put a capo on one of the frets and played it in D standard. And originally the song was written in D standard tuning, but I just kind of kept going lower and lower with the tuning until I got to about C standard. And I was like, that sounds the most kind of melancholic and dreary. It's a dreary kind of melancholic song, but yeah. Yeah, a little bit of a long explanation, but yeah. So, anyways, here we go. Young Songbird. Where'd you go, young songbird? I've seen your nest torn apart in straws it lays. Where'd you go, Young songbird, was it hawks swooped you from the day? If I could fix your broken wings just to see how high you could fly. Young songbird, you'd never believe how you'd never hear another man's plea. Young songbird, your pals within, so take your wings, fly, just fly. Where'd it go, young songbird? I don't hear you sing out my window like I used to. Oh, young songbird, I don't know why these days things don't seem the same. Oh, young songbird, how you make me mourn. How much am I to blame? If I could fix your broken wings just to see how high you could fly. Young songbird, you'd never believe how you'd never hear another man's plea. Young songbird, your pals within, so take your wings, fly, just fly. Sorry. Okay, I gotta restart that part.
Awesome. Good job, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, I
Kind of messed up that little outro part there. I typically don't mess it up like that. But it's just a little. It was just a little complicated because the finger picking pattern, it goes from like using kind of like all three of my fingers, or using two of my fingers at once to like pick multiple strings, to like picking strings one at a time. So like it's really hard to like kind of sometimes to switch from the main part of the song into that outro part. And so I kind of messed up that finger picking pattern and was like trying to adapt and like, okay, I got to come up with something on the spot, and was like, no, I got to restart. Unfortunately.
No, I can't imagine. I mean, I've in my life I've done a lot of performing, but it was vocally, and I wasn't playing an instrument at the same time. And I've always, and and there's not very many people who can sing well and play well at the, I
Yeah.
mean, it's just, there's a lot of challenge there.
Yeah. I mean, and most of the time I'm like able to do it, but yeah, there are some times where it's just like I accidentally pick the wrong string and it
Yeah.
just like totally throws me off.
Right.
And,
And I
but-
can't
yeah,
imagine
but-
dealing with.
But yeah,
all
but
that,
that's I'm gonna make sure that's not gonna happen at HQ though.
well, I assure you something will happen.
yeah.
And that's part of,
Yeah.
and because I've been in that situation where I made a mistake or whatever the case might be, and or you forget the words or you sing the same verse twice, or I mean, it's just it's just part of the thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and one of my I'm pretty good friends with the one of the other local songwriters around here. His name is Brian Mandela, and he's talked to me a bit about that. He's like, dude, like one of the things you got to get yourself ready for is when shit hits the fan.
Right.
Like it's like when it all falls apart, and it's like the worst case scenario. It's like you got to be prepared for it and know what you're going to do in that situation.
Well, and the truth is that if you mess up the words or you mess up something that's important to you, people are probably not going to know.
Yeah.
And so then you have to make this decision of like, well, am I going to let that mistake ruin the rest of the tune?
Yeah.
Or I'm just going to, and there's a huge amount of life that is like that, whatever it might be.
So I would recommend not pointing it out, though.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Don't say anything.
Well, right.
Just keep going.
Just keep rolling,
Right. Yeah, and
Nobody would have known probably.
most of the time, that's what I would do. But with something like that, where it was like I just couldn't get the finger. Like it's like I couldn't adjust to a new finger style pattern.
Mhm.
It's like I was just like I have to restart. Like, but I don't know. Yeah, but probably the best thing to do in that situation is just like not say like, oh, I have to restart.
Yeah, just go.
Restart. Yeah.
Just get back on the horse.
That, I mean, I think it's really cool that you've thrown yourself into it. I mean, it's like that, because part of life, whatever that might be, is, you try something and you like it, either you like it a lot or you learn from your mistake and you try it again. And, so good on you. I'm glad you're doing it. So tell us again, it's this Saturday. Give us the details about the show again.
So my debut show with my older brother, Nick Hackney, is going to be at HQ Saturday, August 5th. Doors open at 7. Music starts at 8. Tickets are on sale right now for $10 at legrandhq.com/tickets. And then they're $12 at the door if you want to wait till the show to buy a pass into the show. I'll be playing all the songs from my album, plus a couple of cover tunes from other artists. And my older brother is going to be opening. He's going to be playing about a 45 or 50 minute set before my show, and then after he's done playing, it's go time. So
Very cool.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, Benny, thanks for not only for the show and being here this morning, but I mean, we really appreciate what it is that you do for us here. And we just came through this huge week.
Shrine week.
Of Shrine, And on Friday night, you were up. You've been shooting all week. This is the Friday before last Saturday.
Yeah.
And
I was up till 4:30 a.m. I tried the year before. I was up till 5 a.m. and I was trying really hard not to do that. And it was like, well, I guess I shaved off half an hour, so that works. Yeah. Which also, I think Kyle had something he wanted.
I do. I'm gonna play it when I win.
Okay.
I got it. Well, Benny, you wouldn't be up till 4:30 if you weren't on your phone as much as you are.
Well, I was only checking it pretty quickly.
I mean, trust me, I was there.
I wouldn't have been up till 4:30
If you just put your phone out in the bathroom.
I wouldn't have been up till 4:30 if I would have known that we weren't going to be playing the B-roll clips with sound, because I was like, I don't know, I was focusing too much on.
We didn't even play any of the B-roll clips.
No,
We didn't.
No,
We got jammed.
Yeah.
I mean, we were jammed the whole game. We were just
Yeah.
we were trying to fit in the most important stuff, right? And we were jammed.
Well, we just because of our tech issues, we got started late.
Yeah,
So we
jammed.
ran out of our.
Yeah.
We didn't start till almost 6. We were supposed to start at 5:30. That's a half an hour of stuff that we had to cut.
Yeah, because I spent a lot of I spent a lot of time on those, and I had no idea that they weren't.
They're still going to be released.
Oh yeah,
yeah. There's still value in it. Yeah.
Yeah, but if I would have known that, then I would have just saved them for later rather than staying up till 4:30. But
Well,
yeah.
Would have been
That's
like
what it is.
2:30 if you would have hid your phone in the bathroom.
all righty. Well, hey,
Before I get us out,
Yeah.
Every time I hear Benny's music, the hippie teacher from Beavis and Butthead comes to mind.
okay.
I mean, it's totally. I mean, here's a little clip from this. This is Bennett's inspiration. It has to be.
Children of the earth rejoice. Each new day we have a choice. So touch a mountain, climb a mountain, feel a mountain.
Oh, damn it. I missed the turn.
That's so like that's like Bennett in cartoon form. Touch a mountain.
But it almost looks a little bit like
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the hippie teacher from. Beavis
I
and
don't know
Butthead.
if I should feel insulted or complimented.
Yeah, you just kind of like you read the so doing it at HQ is totally maybe doing it on a bus like that and like shut up.
Yeah.
Read the crowd, man. That's
Yeah.
all right. Well,
Let's
hey,
get us out of here.
yeah, all right.
On this day, which would be August 3rd. August 3rd.
yeah, I'm
Gosh,
getting
it's
it
already August 3rd.
Yep.
1852, America's first intercollegiate sporting event takes place as the Harvard heavyweight rowing crew beats Yale by 2 lengths over 2 miles on Lake Winnipesaukee. Is that right? Winnipesaukee, New Hampshire.
Okay.
First intercollegiate athletic event ever, a rowing
What year?
competition between Harvard and Yale, 1852. 1888, the U.S. Congress passed the first law restricting immigration. 1882. 1900, Firestone Tire and Rubber Company was founded.
Wow.
And then we'll jump all the way to 2004. The Statue of Liberty opened back up for the first time since 9/11.
Wow.
2004. So the pedestal,
Wow.
like the
Right,
actual
yeah.
area where people could. 2022, the Ascent skyscraper in Milwaukee is certified as the world's tallest timber building at 25 stories tall.
Wow.
Tallest timber building.
Wow.
That's pretty high for a
That
wood.
is.
I wouldn't be a fan of being in that.
You're not going to.
And then 2022, cells of recently dead pigs are brought back to life by researchers at Yale, with huge implications for organ transplants and stroke sufferers. And then it also brought up the ethical question over the definition of death, obviously.
Hmm.
Do you see it? They brought back some worms that were like 40,000 years old or something like that. That
Wow.
were buried in the ice.
Yeah.
They brought them back to life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of like
That's kind of scary.
It's kind of like it's kind of like Jurassic stuff, right there.
Yeah. And who knows? Like I mean, in 100 years, if Earth is still here,
Yeah.
like I don't even know if I want to know what's going to be going on in 100 years. Like, they've already transplanted organs from animals. They've cloned animals. It's kind of creepy. Really is. Really is. Number 1 song in America. 1993 on this day. UB40. Can't Help Falling in Love. Good song. Quote of the day. Believe in yourself. Have faith in your abilities. Without a humble but reasonable confidence in your own powers, you cannot be successful or happy. One more time. Believe in yourself. Have faith in your abilities. Without a humble but reasonable confidence in your own powers, you cannot be successful or happy. And then once again, good luck to these guys. They're playing right now. I mean, 9 o'clock against Utah. The opener's the biggest game of the tournament. I mean, you got to win to move forward. I think it's a double elimination, so you don't want to get into that losers bracket right off the bat. So good luck, boys, and kick some butt. Let's get a team to a World Series. That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be cool?
It would be.
Yeah.
It would be. I mean, just going to regionals is a lifelong memory. I mean, you remember that,
Right.
Winning a state championship, and pretty cool.
All righty. Thank you, Eastern Oregon. Thank you, Benny,
Yep,
for jumping in with us today. Appreciate it.
See you next Tuesday.
All right.